this manna, Mike. I'm not sure what you own, but this here is on the mark. Like a spiral from a 5-star recruit, we throwing darts, really focused. WD-40 couldn't stop the way we grind it. In the trenches, putting that work in, I relate to all my linemen. This is for the men, the boys do not belong here. Tiptoeing to the top, we doing cone drills. The hottest show in the world, you don't even gotta search. Steady putting in work, you see the sweat up on my shirt. They wasn't aware of us at first, we wasn't on their radar. Now every play that we make, they gon' say, oh, similar to a razor blade, we gon' stay sharp. The news ain't official if it's not on the mark.
What it do is Wednesday, man. Listen, a brand new time to On Your Mark shows in the building. We got rush hour traffic. We got 6 o'clock on the dot. It's going down. The same flavor that you get in the morning is now in the evening on Wednesdays, man. I appreciate everybody that's been riding with us. It's Wednesday. It's up, man. And listen, the high school football season is here in the state of Texas. But listen, we're going to travel a little further east, deep down south. We got On the Mark Sports in Tennessee this year. And I got my guy Jay Pace in the building. He's going to set the pace for everything Tennessee high school football. Then we'll get into where I'm going this week, some of the big games. Listen, go and check out the On the Mark Sports website, man. We did some upgrades. We got rankings for you. We got new material for you, man. Go and check out onthemarksports.com right now. I'm telling you right now, you're going to love it, and we got a lot in store for you. But I'm going to bring my guy Jay Pace. He is in Tennessee this season. He was with us last year, covered Texas high school football. He's been a guy that's been in the state of Alabama, covered Crimson Tide football, college football, and he's a veteran in the game when it comes to covering sports. But he's in Tennessee now, and he's working his magic down there. He's hitting his mark in Tennessee. And we're going to talk about the first week of Tennessee high school football with my guy Jay Pace. Jay, what it do?
Mark, how you doing, man? That's quite an introduction. I appreciate that.
Man, absolutely. You know, you're my guy, man, and we've been chopping it up and doing things and working here the last week to get this thing going. But let's start out where you were on Friday. A big game in the state of Tennessee, some big-time prospects. Talk about where you were last Friday.
Right, so I had an opportunity to go watch the Baylor School, which is a big private school up in Chattanooga, take on Santa Lucis from Florida. And I was very impressed with what I saw. I've heard of the Baylor School before, but I've not they are absolutely loaded, Mark. One of the most talented high school football teams I've seen in any state. Just loaded with blue-chip prospects, got a great coach. So it's a great program. Got a big game this week coming up against Raven Gap, one of their recent kind of rivalry. I think this is their 5th meeting, but it should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Now, talk about some of the guys. We kind of been talking about this over here over the last few days, but they had a big-time quarterback prospect, a couple of big linemen, and a running back that was a go-to guy in that game.
Yeah, so they're I guess they're the biggest name guy is Gabriel Osenda. He's a 5-star offensive tackle. He's recently committed to Tennessee. Worth every bit of the hype. I mean, an absolute monster up front. Then you got Charlie Edgeworth. He's committed to Louisville, and Briggs Cherry, the quarterback. He's your prototypical kind of drop back passer. He's not much, with his wheels, but he throws an absolutely beautiful ball. He got a big, strong arm, big kid. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. And then you've got the running back, David Goggins George. He's a 5-star. He'll probably be the number 2 back in the country next year in the class of 2027. Just a specimen. I think he's a 2-time Mr. Tennessee Football Player of the Year. And then on defense, you've got a couple of defensive backs, Jamon Theodore, he's committed to Tennessee as an athlete. He'll probably play a little bit of wide receiver. Return man, it's what he does for Baylor. And, of course, he's also a lockdown corner. I think he had 3 picks last year in the championship, or the first time they played McCall. He had 3 picks in that game. One was a pick 6, so he's a big-time athlete. And then you've got another kid, Kobe Barnett, who is also a defensive back that's committed to Mississippi State. So those guys are loaded with talent.
Well, definitely, man. I saw some of your highlights, man. Definitely go give Jay Pace a follow at the real Jay Pace on Twitter. He's going to be covering everything in Tennessee high school football. He also put out a poll today, the top 10 teams. We'll talk about that shortly. But I was really impressed with the Baylor School. Those were some kids on the radar in the state of Tennessee that I thought You did a very, very good job of covering those guys, and man, you're definitely boots on the ground, of course, and you'll be covering uh, for On the Mark Sports in the state of Tennessee. He'll be doing that all season long. Now, let's talk about, before we get to the top 10 teams, let's talk about a couple of guys that you highlighted in the Friday night Star Watch in the state of Tennessee. Some guys that I had a chance to watch some film on today that definitely put on for their teams. And are definitely stars in the state of Tennessee. Talk about some of those guys. I'll start out with Thomas Manu, the quarterback for Alcoa. Talk about him a little bit.
Great segue. Yeah, Thomas Manu, that's my guy there. So, Maryville and Alcoa is a big time rivalry. I think between them, they've won like 40 state championships. They're separated, I think, by 3 or 4 miles. So they're really close, and both of them are highly successful programs. Alcoa's made the jump to 4A this year. They've won 10 straight 3A titles. That tells you how dominant they are. But so Mr. Manu was the quarterback at Maryville, transferred in the offseason to Alcoa, became their starter, and etched his name in the record books this week. They were trailing. I think they were down early, 14-0. He throws a touchdown right before the half, and then early in the third quarter they take the lead, and then eventually they win the game. He had a big night. I mean, not numbers-wise. I think he 170 yards, but he was able to extend a lot of plays, extend drives, kind of keep Maryville's offense off the field, which is key. I just think it's a remarkable story. The folks up in Maryville may disagree with me, but I couldn't help but pull for the kid because just, you're at one school, big-time rival like that, you go to the next place and you show out. He did his thing, so I was very impressed with that.
Well, definitely. How about Roman? I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Ulo, athlete from Walker Valley. I saw his film, saw some of his cut ups. He's a guy. Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, so Roman's kind of the jack of all trades for that Walker Valley offense. He'll get under center, take snaps, get in shotgun. I think he's listed as a receiver. He can play running back, quarterback, receiver, slot. I think he does a little bit of everything, and he did the other night. And that was a big win over Cleveland, 28-3. Last year, Cleveland handled him pretty good, so he had a big night, and I expect a lot of big things out of him this year. Walker Valley is going. I think they've won 7 straight openers, but Bradley Central's always been sort of a thorn in their side. I think they've won 18 of the 20 meetings, but Walker Valley beat them last year. I think they got a good chance to do it again this year. If they start out 2-0, that's going to be big. It's going to, I think, bode well for the rest of their season. A couple of the other guys I had was Owen Capel from Nashville. Of course, he's an Alabama commit, so we know he can play some ball. But he's kind of a do-it-all kind of guy, too. I think Alabama's recruited him more as a defensive back, but he plays wide receiver. He's a big-time athlete. I think he had 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he can kind of do everything, and he can lay a hat, too, from what I understand. And then you got the kid from Battleground Academy, Caden Maribel. Obviously, I've not seen him play, but I was very impressed by some of the film I saw, some of the things I read. He had a absolute monster of a night. I think he completed almost 80% of his passes, accounted for like 6 touchdowns. So that's some pretty heady stuff. I think his quarterback rating was almost 160. So he had a nice night, to say the least.
Absolutely. Listen, I had a chance to peep a game on Cabell as well, and there's a reason that Alabama recruits you in the state of Tennessee. You're a Bama guy, cover Bama sports. If they go to Tennessee to get a guy, that must mean he's legit for real.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And apparently, this kid's kind of like I said, he's a jack of all trades. He's not afraid to lay a hat and get in there and mix it up. And he's from everything I've seen, he's a pretty special ball player. And I think he's a 3-star. But a lot of people get caught up in these stars and all that kind of stuff. And but the kid can play ball. There's no question. And I think Alabama got a good one with him. I expect to hear a lot of good things out of him over the next couple of years because I think he's going to play a number of different roles: special teams, defensive back, maybe on the kickoff team. So yeah, I expect a lot of big things out of him.
Absolutely, no, he's got something to him. I really liked watching some of his film today. And again, we're talking to Jay Pace, who is working with On the Mark Sports this year in the state of Tennessee. He was with us a couple of times. He came on the show last year during the season in 2024 in the state of Texas. But now he's in Tennessee, and we're going to have some Tennessee high school football on onthemarksports.com, so make sure you're paying attention. Now, Jay, let's talk about the poll you came out with today, week 2. You got some rankings here, the power rankings here in the state of Tennessee. Based on your research and the teams that you saw. You got Baylor, the Red Raiders, coming in at 1, McCallie, the Blue Tornadoes at number two. Oakland. I've heard of Oakland before. I know they're a powerhouse in Tennessee at three.
Yeah.
BGA at four. Alcoa at five. Christian Presbyterian. Innsworth. The Tigers. The West Rebels. Maryville comes in at nine. And Knoxville Catholic, the Fighting Irish. I've heard of those guys. Talk about this poll and what you think coming into week two with these guys.
Yeah, so 1 2 is kind of interchangeable. I guess McCauley could have every bit of the. They could stake their claim because they've won the last two state Division II AAA championships. They beat Baylor last year. Baylor beat them the first time they played, handled them pretty good actually. And then I think they were up 21-0. I want to say in the championship game and allowed McCauley to come back and beat them. McCauley's a very impressive team. Got a great quarterback. They can run the ball. Got one of the top receivers in the country. They've got a big game coming up this week. So those guys are they're just talent all over the field. And I'll tell you this, Mark, I've seen a lot of good high school football. I've seen a lot of tough regions, but that region or division right there may be the toughest one that I've ever seen. The talent and the teams, the coach, it's something to behold, really. I mean, these guys play. It's a dogfight for them every single week. But then you go to Oakland. Those two are private schools. Oakland is a public school, and so I guess they're the highest rated public school on this list. Yeah, Kevin Creasy has won I think 8 state championships. He won I think 3 at his prior stop, Trousdale County. Comes over to Oakland. He's won 5. He's played 6 or 7 championship games. The guy's only been there about 8 years. And they are just, I think I told you the other day, one of the most well-coached, disciplined, fundamentally sound teams that I've ever seen. They get after the ball. They're never out of position. Sound across the board and got plenty of depth. They got a big game coming up this week. And then you've got Alcoa. Like they're making that jump to 4A down from 3A. Big win over Maryville. It says what it needs to. Christ Presbyterian, that's where Mr. Cable or Cobble, however you pronounce his name, that's where he's at. They've got another big game this week. Of course, they lost a tight one to Oakland. And you get just Innsworth and West and Maryville, the number 8 and 9 teams in the Power Pro are going to meet up. So I think it's it's their season opener. So I don't know if, how that would bode for them taking on a team. That's a heck of an opener to start with as Maryville. And I round out with Knoxville Catholic. So you got some pretty solid teams in there. Get a little mix of private schools and the public schools.
Absolutely. Listen, I like this list. I kind of went over it today as we were chopping it up about it before the show. I think these guys definitely can stake a claim to be in some of the top teams, definitely in Tennessee, but around the Southeast and definitely in the country. Of course, Oakland's one of those teams that we've heard about around the country. I'm just being introduced to Baylor, and they were solid based on what I saw from you this past week. Over the weekend, and I definitely think that Baylor's a team that you definitely need to know about nationally for sure. But let's talk about, before we get you out of here, let's talk about where you're going this week. You also previewed a couple of games, setting the pace week 2 preview on OnTheMarkSports.com. Definitely go check it out. Where you going this week, and who do you have your eye on?
Well, I'm going to try to make it out to a couple of games. I'm going to try to get over and see McCauley. They're right here in town in Chattanooga. Had a big game against Hebron Christian from Georgia, another private school, big time school. And then you got Baylor is taking on Raven Gap, as we mentioned earlier. That's sort of a new rival for them. I think they've met each of the last 4 seasons. Baylor holds, I think, maybe a 3-1 edge, but the last 2 they split. Raven Gap is a really, really good program. Lost last week to Grayson. I'm sure you've heard of Grayson.
Absolutely.
So,
yep.
They just lost, I think, a touchdown. So I'm going to try to get into both of those games and see what McCauley's working with, because McCauley and Baylor are scheduled to play here, I think, in about 3 or 4 weeks. So that's a Duncanville DeSoto type game there. So I'm looking forward to that. But, yeah, that's kind of what I got my eye on for this week are those 2 schools. Go there and see. This game should be a lot more competitive for Baylor than last week was. And, well, I imagine for McCauley as well, because they won pretty handily last week as well, I think 56-20. So this is, week 2, week 1's a lot of fun, but for a lot of people it's a lot of warm-up games. But, week 2 is where it starts really getting serious. We see the cream kind of start rising to the top a little bit. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Should be some really good games, some really good players, and with some big-time implications.
Absolutely. I mean, it's early in the season, so, everybody's kind of still in the filling out process. But definitely some teams in the state of Tennessee that you need to keep your eye on. Go to ownermarksports.com. Under national coverage, you'll see this coverage. My guy Jay Page setting the pace in the state of Tennessee. Jay, before we let you go, man, tell everybody where they can follow you. Definitely on Twitter, Instagram, and wherever you are landing at it on social media, man. We appreciate you giving us a little time. We'll definitely check back in with you in a couple of weeks to see how it's going down in Tennessee.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Yeah, you can get me on X or Twitter at the Real J Pace. Of course, I'm on Instagram and TikTok, and that's actually at Sliding Thunder, which I'll explain that to you later. But yeah, so that's where you can find me on the social media sites.
Well, definitely, man. Listen, my guy Jay Pace is setting the pace, keeping you on pace and keeping you on the mark in the state of Tennessee. Listen, go to ownermarksports.com. It's fresh, it's new, it's updated, man, and we got you going. We appreciate you, Jay, man. We're going to take a small break. We're going to start to talk about the games here in the state of Texas, man. It's about to go down starting tomorrow. Texas is on and popping. We're going to take a small break, come back, and we're going to share where we're going this week and talk about a couple of games. And listen, go to ownermarksports.com. We got the top 10, our top 10 here in the state of Texas for 5AD2, 5AD1, and definitely 6A at ownermarksports.com. This is the On Your Mark Show, powered by Epic Sports Apparel. Every play I compete, right here on the Fishbowl Radio Network. We'll be right back.
What it do? Mark Henry here from the On Your Mark Show, powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. Every play I compete, each week, live from the Fishbowl Radio Network studios from 11 to 12. But if you miss us, hop on to the On Your Mark Show YouTube channel. Click, like, and subscribe. The same heat that we bring on Wednesdays, you'll see it on the On Your Mark Show YouTube channel. Check us out, tap in, like, and subscribe. Myself and Coach Jay and our past guests and the guests from each week will be on the On Your Mark Show YouTube channel. Check us out. And we'll see you each week, every Wednesday, from 11 to 12, live from the Fishbowl Radio Network.
Man, we are back live from the Fishbowl Radio Network. 6 o'clock slot now, man. If you used to looking at us at 11 o'clock, but now we moved to 6 o'clock. We're going to help you get home on Wednesdays, man. That hump day, we're here at the Fishbowl Radio Network. But listen, the season has started now. Tomorrow, the kickoff in the state of Texas. No more scrimmages. All the talk is over. It's time to strap it up and put on those cleats, man. And we are going to be in the mix. We'll start to talk about where we're going tomorrow. That is one of the biggest games in the DFW. That features the North Crowley Panthers and the Lancaster Tigers. These teams, both teams met last year over at the Star, but now it's going to be at Crowley ISD Stadium. Listen, if you have not been to Crowley ISD Stadium, you don't know what you're missing when it comes to going to a high school football game. It's one of the best. It's one of the best venues in the state of Texas. That if you haven't been, man, put that on your bucket list. But listen, we're going to be in the building tomorrow. The state champs, defending state champs in 6A Division I, the North Crowley Panthers, led by Coach Ray Gates and company. Shout out to my guy, Coach Harris, the DC over there, Coach White, my guys over there, Coach Russell. They have what I think is the deepest receiving core, probably in the DFW area, if not the state of Texas. They come back with one of the better running backs in the 2027 class, in Keontae Ingram, the top offensive tackle in the state of Texas. And I mean, you can debate this with everybody, but John Turrentine's my guy, the third. Texas commit, of course, Hookham. But, Turrentine's been a guy that's been a multi-year starter, an all-district, all-state type of player. He's the anchor of that offensive line. The defense in the secondary is loaded. Jerry Outhouse Jr. Is a 2027 defensive back, one of the most talented defensive backs that you'll find in the country. Long, lean, athletic guy. He's going to be at one corner. Then you got who I think is one of the best cornerbacks in the state of Texas, the Colorado State commit, and Thomas Cook Jr. Then on the back end, you got Aaron Bradshaw, who is a Texas Tech commit, and you got Elijah Houston, who's starting to move up in the ranks when it comes to safeties in the class of 2027. These guys are loaded. Then you got Beasley on the outside, who's one of the best edge rushers on that particular North Crowley team. And then you got my guy Big D in the trenches, man. He's one of the best defensive tackles. He was the MVP of the state championship last year on defense. He's coming back, and he's only a junior. This team is going to be very, very good. Of course, you know Coach Greg Gates is one of the best defensive play callers that you have in high school football in the state of Texas. He's 40-2 in the last 3 years. Only 2 losses were to Duncanville and Prosper in the playoffs. 3 straight district titles. I don't know that there's been a better start to a head coaching career in the state of Texas that I know of since I've been in the media, which has been over a decade, and covering high school football around the state of Texas. These guys are set up to make another run. Now, on the flip side, shout out to my guy, Coach Whitley, and my guy, Coach Paul over there, Coach Muhammad, and those guys. They got one of the better running backs in the state of Texas in Victor Scott. They got some guys over there that can play. Lovey Berry at cornerback. Listen, this is going to be a very good game. I think, it'll be a 28-21 type of affair again. It's going to be on North Crowley's home turf. They open up the season. I think they're going to have some dedications from the last season. I think I'm not real sure. They may have some opening festivities, but listen, this is a monumental game, not just in the state of Texas, but nationally, because now North Crowley's ranked as a nationally ranked team. It depends on who you depend on for that. But I know they're a top 10 team in the country, not just in the state of Texas. Definitely a team that you want to pull up on for real. This is the game tomorrow, Thursday. I think it's a 7 or 7:30 kickoff over at Crowley ISD Stadium. You definitely want to be in the building. I will be in the building for that one. Then on Friday, I'm literally going to have a coin flip for this one. 2 games on the docket. Aledo versus Geyer, and then in D-Town is D-Town versus H-Town. Now, if you know me very well, grew up in the city of Houston, go down to the city of Houston, usually between Houston and Dallas during the season, and cover high school football in the Houston area. This is a game that's a rematch of last year's contest where North Shore, they won pretty handily. I think the final score was like 38-3 or 35-3, somewhere in that area. But the game was a lot closer in the first half than people. If you weren't there, the final score looks like it was, a big victory, which it was. But there were some big plays overhead that North Shore got that South Oak Cliff just wasn't able to recover from. But defensively and on the offensive line, they moved the football, and they go on to make a state run. That was one of their big losses early. They lost to Duncanville, but they went on the road last year and beat a very, very good Longview team in Longview, and then go on to march to a state title game where they came up short against Randall out of the Houston area in the Richmond-Randall, but that's a suburb of Houston. I think that this is going to be one of the better matchups, definitely in the DFW area, but definitely around the state. North Shore's coming to Dallas. They're coming to D-Town. They're coming to Kincaid. Sock is going to have them in their backyard, at home. This is what you look for when it comes to high school football. This is what you talk about. This is what you need to do. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's a coin flip, and I'm going to talk about the other game as well. But, it's one of those things where I know that this is going to be a great game. This is going to be a great contest. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Bryce behind the 1s and 2s over there, man. Man, this is one of those things, man. Bryce, if you want to check, I think we lost. The live says it ended. If you want to check that, but I think this is one of those things where this game is going to be, it's going to be physical. Both offensive lines are very, very good. Both defensive lines are very, very good. South Oak Cliffs has one of the best linebackers in the state of Texas, and Baylor commit Jamarian Phillips. At the cornerback position, they have Marcel Gibson, who's a Clemson commit as well. I think that this is going to be closer, definitely, than last year. South Oak Cliff has 2 of the best running backs in the state. 1-2 punch, definitely in the DFW area, and Levon Morton and Mikael Trotter. These guys are introducing a new quarterback, and he made some noise over the spring in the summer on the 7-on-7 circuit. South Oak Cliff went down and played in the finals down in College Station at the Big Texas 7-on-7 tournament, and he played well. You never can count on a Coach Todd team, Coach Warris DC, Coach Spencer, and those guys over there. Shout out to my guy Coach Bryce as well, and shout out to my guy Coach Will Carr, who I think is coaching over there now as well. You can't count these guys out. This I've had a chance to since I've been doing high school football or covering high school football in the state of Texas. I've had a chance to see this program. We're talking about South Oak Cliff grow under Coach Todd's tutelage, and those coaches have been there for a while. They know how to develop. They know how to get guys ready to play. They're going to be ready to play, and they're going to welcome in a very, very talented North Shore team that's going to be led by one of the most talented quarterbacks in the state of Texas, in Caleb Maryland, the Utah State commit. He got a chance to get his feet wet last year in some of the games that North Shore played. Of course, Caleb Bailey was the 4-year starter there, but now it's Maryland's team. It's him under center. He's the guy. He's going to be the guy that sets the pace. Talking to one of my guys down in Houston this week, this is probably one of the bigger, more physical, physically imposing North Shore offensive lines. This is what I'm hearing. They got a couple of good running backs. They got some young receivers now. I think that this is going to be a close game. But I think South Oak Cliff has something up their sleeve. And I would, if I'm a betting man, I'm betting and I'm picking South Oak Cliff in this game. I think that North Shore's probably, a very, very good team. And I just think it's something about SOC this year that maybe people are underestimating. They made it all the way to the state title. They went to 4 straight state title games and won 2 and lost 2. That's unheard of. I don't care what level it is. I don't care where the school is located. That's special. And they're coming back for trying to make it 5 times to get there. That's just unheard of. Now, some people are saying that they won't make it back and it's hard to go for 5. I'm not betting against them. You have to prove it to me. You have to show up and pull up with this. And I think that, I've had a chance to see some of the South Oak Cliff skill players in the 7-on-7 circuit. Shout out to my guy Ron Murray Jr., who had his first annual 7-on-7 tournament over there. SOC won that one, and they had about 8 or 9 guys on the offensive side. This is probably the deepest skill position, deepest amount of players that they had at the skill position. They're going to have to find ways to get these guys the ball. Defensively, we know what they got. They're going to be physical up front. They're going to play fast, and they're going to play sound defense. North Shore's going to have to really come with it. They're going to have to really bring it. Coming all the way from the H, making that drive. This is going to be one of those games that you just have to be in the building for. The other game that we're going to talk about as well is Aledo versus Guyer. Now, last year, Guyer welcomed in Aledo, and Aledo went on the road. But this time, the Guyer Wildcats have to travel to Aledo. They've been there before. I was there a couple of years ago when they had my guy, Kadrick Cobbs, Eli Stowers, and those guys. And they went in there and they beat a very good Aledo team. And I believe that was a state championship team that year. Aledo went on to run the table after that, I believe. But this is an Aledo team that's kind of flying under the radar, if you will, just because they got some guys coming back. They didn't win the state title last year, so if you want to call them under the radar, you can. But I really don't think that people are really, taking this Aledo team serious because they're not coming off of state championships like they normally do. They've won 12. That's unheard of. You just don't hear that 12 state titles in the state of Texas. That's unheard of. This is Title Town for a reason. They have the players to make another run. And it all starts with the offensive line up front. Shout out to my guy Peyton Williams, the senior. He's a guy that's been an anchor there. If that name is synonymous for offensive line. He had 2 older brothers that played on state title teams. And, that pedigree of offensive linemen with the last name Williams that comes through Aledo it's synonymous. He can play. You got my guy Winkfield in the backfield, Caden Winkfield. I think that this guy, he's going to carry that rock. Last year they had, the last couple of years they had a dynamic running back in Racine Guillory who's, committed and signed with Utah. This guy can get it done. This is a guy that's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher for Aledo this year, and I think that he's going to have a big season. He started to pick up some offers as well, and I think that he's going to run behind that offensive line and get it done. Now, on the outside, you can't get any better receiver in the country than who the guy we're going to talk about now, and that's Caden Finley. Notre Dame commit, We're talking about a guy that's big, physical, tough, can go up and get the ball in anywhere you throw it, he's going to catch it. Strong hands. But the thing that people may not talk about, of course, they see the run after the catch and the route running, but this guy's a ferocious blocker as well. And he has to be in an Alito run game that features power running football. That's always, so you can go back to the Jonathan Grays, the Jace McClendons, and now Winkfield's going to be the guy that's going to tote the rock for Alito. The Bearcats have always had physical play in the run game. And Finley, he gets dirty with it. I've seen this guy since, I met him when he was an 8th grader going into being a 9th grader. He won a state championship as a freshman, as a sophomore. As a junior, he was dominant. Saw him make plays in a game that they came back and won in Alito against Denton Ryan, who eventually comes back in the playoffs and sends Alito home. I think that the Bearcats know that they have the team to make a state title run on defense. You got LaMel Swanson. You got one of the best interior defensive linemen in the 2027 class, and Timon Meeks. These guys are loaded. And I think that they're welcoming in one of the better teams in 6A in the state of Texas in the Guyer Wildcats. They have a 2027 quarterback who I think is about to open some people's eyes. If you hadn't seen Guyer in the last couple of years, there's always been a guy that has kind of been waiting his time. If you get to the games early enough, you see this guy warm up and you think, where's this guy coming from? Why is he not playing? Well, Zephyr Cry is going to have his opportunity to be QB1 for the Guyer Wildcats. If there's a chance that they make a state title run, it's going to be on the shoulders of my guy Zephyr Cry. 6'4", great arm, just a fluid passer. He can also get it done with his feet. I think that's something that, people are going to get a chance to see this year. The Guyer Wildcats got a guy that can move around. Don't think because he's 6'4" that he can't move. Zephyr Cry can play. He's already got offers, from Colorado State, Houston. I think Oklahoma State's been on him very heavy. He went up to Kansas State and had a great showing. I had a shout out to my guy, Coach Buckets. He calls me. He picks up the phone as a scout in the Midwest that I work with the platform. Shout out to him. He calls me and he said, "Hey, man, I saw this guy, and I want to know if you know him." I'm like, "Okay." He was like, his first name's Zephyr, and, he couldn't get the pronunciation right. Before he finished, I said, "Yeah, Cry." I said, "That's my guy." You know what I'm saying? The 2027 class, yeah. He said he looked great. The Kansas State coaches were all over him. He was a priority guy for those guys. He went up to the camp, and he showed up and showed out. I think that this is the year that nationally, if you don't know about this guy, you will. The state of Texas, if you're really deep in high school football, you should know about this guy. He's going to be a guy this year for Guyer that I think sets the pace. They go to a hostile environment in Alito. That's a big game for a guy that's making his first varsity start. But I think that this guy can handle it. He's been a guy that's been, at the FBU level. He was a guy that has played well in 7-on-7. He got some time last year behind FSU signee Kevin Sperry in some games. So he has some time and he has some varsity playing time, but he's the starter and he's the guy this year. And I think that Cry is going to be the guy that's going to take these guys on to make a deep playoff run. Now, Guyer is a team, they went deep in the playoffs last year, fell to eventual state finalist South Lake Carroll in that game. I think that was 56-45. It was a high-scoring game. But I think that this is the year that Guyer really turns the tables. They have, we're going to talk about some more of these guys on their team, but the 2027 class at Denton Guyer, if you listen to me or you talk to me, we have these conversations. Shout out to the Dub, shout out to the platform, shout out to my guy Brian Gossett. Go check out Game Time with Goss. That was a recent episode. I'm on that, and I talk about this as well. The 2027 class at Denton Guyer is one of those classes around the state of Texas that they have some guys in it. But, and I've said this and I've been on record as well, as the 2027 class as a whole in the state of Texas is probably the deepest class that I've seen in a long time from top to bottom. At every position, you can go and get a college-level player. Well, Guyer's got college-level players in that 2027 class that are national recruits. And it doesn't start, with anybody else but my guy Zane Rowe. Big-time playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. But listen, don't sleep on him at tight end. He's an athlete. I know he's listed as an edge in some publications. He's listed as a defensive end, an edge guy. But some of the schools are recruiting him as a tight end as well. Don't sleep on this guy as being an all district type tight end if he gets the snaps. He can go up and get it. He's an athlete in my book. When I look at him, I look at Zane Rowe as an athlete, a guy that can play on both sides of the football, a plug and play type of guy. Tight end, he's gonna see some snaps in there. Don't look up and see. No, you don't see some head toss from Zane Rowe this year. This guy can play. There was a reason he was committed as a freshman to the University of Oklahoma. All of the blue bloods of college football are on this guy. Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Texas. Any school that you can think of that you're going to see on TV this weekend is recruiting Zane Rowe for a reason. He's a big-time prospect. He's a big-time player in the class of 2027. And he's got another year, 2 years really, if you want to include this year, to play at the high school level. This guy's hungry. If you ever spent any time with Zane Rowe, he's a competitor, man. He's a guy that wants to get after it. You got to also look at my guy Kyron Hayward in the trenches over there on the Denton Grier defensive line. He's a 2027. He's a junior as well. He's one of the top recruits in the 2027 class when it comes to defensive linemen. This defense is going to fly around. Shout out to my guy Greg Hammer. Shout out to my guy Coach Kyle Keese over there at Guy. We had these kind of debates. Shout out to Third Down Media as well. My guy Creative Jones. We got some stuff that's dropping. I think this week, and y'all gonna love it. Make sure you're following Third Down Media on Instagram, on Twitter, and everything. We got some things that's popping, man. Shout out to my guys. We've been working on this the last few weeks. But back to Guy. And this is the debate. You guys are gonna see some of this stuff with the Third Down Media thing, between me and my guy Greg Hammer. But Guy's defense is going to have something to say about what they do over at Alito when they go over there this game. My guy Cobbs is also a two-way player. He's a guy that can get it done in the running game, and he's also a guy that can play safety or linebacker. He's an Illinois commit. He's a heavily recruited guy as well. On the offensive side, you got Corbin Glasgow as well. He's a guy that can play in the slot on the outside. He's a return guy. He's a guy that's going to have the football in his hands. The DBs for Alito are going to have to account for this guy, definitely, because he's going to get his hands on the ball. But there's another guy that's going to make his debut, and I've been talking about this guy for any time I get on a podcast or, I talk about Den Geyer, and that's Tristan Shelton. He's a guy that I think is about to bubble over there. This will be his first opportunity. He really killed it on the freshman level, came up on the varsity as a freshman in the playoff run that they made last year. But Shelton's a guy I think in this particular game that's going to be key. Also, man, I got it on good authority that they got another guy, Carter Morgan, that's going to have something to say in that receiver core. Guys got a team. They're a team that can get hot and make a run. Now, guys got a difficult schedule early on, and they have a difficult district as well when you talk about Louisville, when you talk about Flower Mound, when you talk about Marcus, in that particular district, in Capel. So Guy's the favorite to win in that district, but they got some games early on that they got to kind of, work some kinks out, and it starts with these guys that we're talking about, and it starts with that coaching staff. They are a veteran coaching staff that's been together for a while. They've won a state title a few years back, and they've always been on the cusp. Of course, Gatorade Player of the Year a couple years ago. Now he's at Auburn. Jackson Arnold came out of this particular program, as well as Eli Stowers, who's probably going to be a draft pick for Vanderbilt right now. Guy's got talent. That's what they do over there. But this is one of those teams that I think can make a run if they get on, if they get on a roll. They got a game in a couple of weeks that we'll be talking about that we're going to definitely pull up, and that's against North Crowley. They come to Guyer. So, I mean, this is one of those games that you definitely got to look for, definitely. And, I've been telling people who I talk to all the time, I'm going to have to make a coin flip decision with this one because I actually live closer to Alito than I do to South Dallas. But do I want to see, H-Town versus D-Town, or do I want to see two of the best teams in DFW go at it in Alito? So those are the games that we'll be watching this week. A couple of more games around the state that you might want to keep an eye on. Go to East Texas, man. If you're anywhere in East Texas and you want to pull up to a game, You got defending state champion Carthage taking on Kilgore. Man, I don't know what other games you might want to look at if I'm in East Texas, man. But there's one more we're going to talk about as well. But Carthage and Kilgore. Now, you can go to look at these games to watch on OnTheMarkSports.com, man. I put the link earlier. I'm going to put it in there again, man. Go check out OnTheMarkSports.com. Like I said, we revamped the site a little bit to get ready for the season. Definitely go check it out, man. Some new stuff for you guys that we're doing, man, with OnTheMarkSports.com, man. Definitely go down. All you got to do is scroll down to the bottom, and you put your email in, and every time we drop something, you're going to get an email showing that, man. Go ahead and like and subscribe that, man. Shout out to everybody that's been following us. Shout out to my guy, Coach G, for watching in and tapping in, man. That's my guy. He's been a follower for a while. Man, if you're watching, just put in the comments where you're watching from today, man. And we appreciate your support, of course, of the On Your Mark Show. Has been rolling here at the Fishbowl Radio Network. It'll be 3 years in October. We've been the best show, the best sports show on the Fishbowl Radio Network for 2 years in a row. But I'm coming for the show of the year. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Bryce in the building today on the ones and twos. It's going down. But I'm telling you, man, everybody is put on notice. We coming for the show of the year this year on the Fishbowl Radio Network. But back to OnTheMarkSports.com, man. Definitely go check it out. It's article centric, man. We're gonna put up articles about everything. Of course, we cover SMU football for Mustang Wire as well. They got a big game coming up this weekend against East Texas A&M. So definitely, man, follow OnTheMarkSports.com, man. Definitely go check out the website. We'll be covering high school football and college football as well, right there. And I'm gonna put it in the comments there, man. Click like and subscribe, man. Everybody that's listening to my voice right now, man, go turn up on the MarkSports.com, man. On Your Mark Show is definitely in the building there as well. You can scroll all the way to the bottom and follow us on Spotify. You can also go to the YouTube channel the On Your Mark Show YouTube channel. My bad, got a little tight tongue there. But the On Your Mark Show YouTube channel, man, it's been going strong. The subscribers have been going up here the last couple of weeks. Of course, we've been getting ready for the season. But definitely, man, in the comments, if you're watching this live on the Fishbowl Radio Network Facebook page, go and tap in, man. Like and subscribe. You're going to get the best of me, my guy Jay Pace in Tennessee. Bailey Sheffield's been going to be working with us. We got a guy up in Oklahoma. We got some other guys in the city of Houston that's going to be working with us. Shout out to my guy, Coach Pat, Stephon Johnson, who, of course, is the sponsor of the show with Epic Sports Apparel. We got some guys that's going to be covering some high school football here in the state of Texas and around the country now. We're going to be doing that this year with OnTheMarkSports.com, so definitely tap in. Now, before we get out of here, we're going to run through the On The Mark Sports top 10 in 5A, 6A, that's 5A D1 and 5A D2 as well. But we're going to start with 6A. This is the On The Mark Sports top 10. This is not nobody else's top 10. These are the teams that we think right now going into week 1 should be ranked in the top 10. We're going to run through this real quick before we get out of here. 6A, top 10. Southlake Carroll's at 1. Now, Southlake Carroll's at 1. We saw them a couple of weeks ago. We went to the scrimmage at Waxahachie High School. They scrimmaged Waxahachie over up in Hatchie, and they played very well. Their defense is going to be very good. I really like the guys. Shout out to the Dub, J Mac, Pat Bottizi, Brian Reiser, and Coach Carr. They put me on Jake Lucky last year, and I was really impressed to see him. I saw him at State, but I saw him this year, and I think Jake Lucky's probably now. When you look at the measurables, you're not going to see this guy, on a Power 4 level. But this guy's going to play college football. He's got a couple small school offers, but Jake Lucky he's the guy that kind of sets the tone for that Southlake Carroll defense. He's a wrestler by trade. We're talking about a guy that knows how to use leverage well, and he made some plays that kind of opened some eyes this week or a couple weeks ago when we were in Waxahachie watching that game. And I think that he's going to be a guy that really, controls the tempo on the defensive line. But when you talk about Southlake Carroll, you know about their offense, and it starts with their star quarterback in Angelo Randa. He's coming back for a second year, one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the state of Texas, University of Pittsburgh commit. This guy was on fire. Just his anticipation, his ability to throw guys open. The deep ball was tight, good touch on it. His timing, for this time of the year. You can tell that this guy's been putting in the work. And Coach Riley Dodge has these guys playing at a high level offensively. Brock Boyd, the Ohio State commit, he's like that. He's one of the best players in the 2026 class in the country, not just in the state of Texas, in the country. He showed and proved it. That he's one of those playmakers. He can get open any kind of way you want, whether it's a short route, whether it's an out route, a comeback, a dig, a post, a deep ball, a fake, whatever you want to run, he's gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys. From shout out to my guy D-Rob from Always Open Camp. He's one of those guys. Brody Knowles, 2027 wide receiver, and Blake Gunter, 2027 wide receiver. They're loaded offensively. Davis Penn, the running back, it's one of those guys in the 2026 class that's being recruited around the country. Tristan Darray, my guy Ty Murray. These guys can do it. Luke Wilson. Those two guys have already committed to Michigan and Ohio State in the 2027 class, and they're juniors. This is one of the best offenses that you're going to see in the state of Texas. I fully expect South Lake Carroll to make a deep playoff run, but there's a team in their district that they're going to have to deal with in the Trinity Trollers, Euless Trinity. I had a chance to see them against North Crowley in the scrimmage, and they did well. Mac Lineweaver. Who's the Mac? Mac Lineweaver. I'm telling you, 2027 quarterback from Euless Trinity. Go ahead and jot that name down. You're going to see him this year. Trinity's going to put the ball in there a little bit, and it's going to be off the hands on the arm of Mac Lineweaver. This guy can ball. My guy JT Harris, the running back over there, is going to have something to say with that Trinity squad when they meet up with South Lake Carroll in that district. But that's going to be probably their stiffest test coming up in their district. Byron Nelson's going to be good as well. But I fully expect Euless Trinity to really give those guys a game. They had a really tough game last year. I think they played it over at Euless Trinity spot at Pennington Field. This year, I think Trinity travels to South Lake Carroll. But let's run through this top 10 real quick. South Lake Carroll's 1. North Crowley's coming in at 2. This is the On the Mark Sports 6A top 10. Austin Westlake at 3. North Shore is coming in at 4. Duncanville at 5. Vandergrift, the defending state 6A D2 champs, at 6. DeSoto at 7. Summer Creek out of the Houston area, Humble Summer Creek, is at 8. Fort Bend Ridge Point. Let me say this again. Fort Bend Ridge Point is loaded. Not a lot of people are talking about these guys coming out of the H, and I'm telling you, go look it up. These guys are loaded with talent. Now, coming out of the city of Houston is always difficult when it comes to trying to make a run to state, and Ridge Point's been get clipped early, second or third round the last couple of years, but I think this is the year they get over the hump. And I got them coming in at number 9, and Allen's rounding out the top 10 for 6A. Now, let's move over to 5A D1. This is interesting. Definitely something that you need to look out. Listen, onthemarksports.com. Look at these rankings, man. Hit me up. Send me a message. Definitely. I know that. What I'm saying, shout out to my guys at the Dub. They're gonna be on later on tonight picking games. This is my top 10. This is not anybody else's top 10 that you've seen. I'm releasing this now right before the season. This is gonna change throughout the season. It's not gonna stay the same because guys gonna win and they're gonna lose. But listen. Alito's number 1. Denton Ryan number 2. Smithson Valley out of SA, San Antonio is number 3. Highland Park, shout out to my guy Buck Randall over there, who I expect to have a big year over at Highland Park. They're coming in at number 4. Frisco Lone Star. And I'm going to stop real quick, Frisco Lone Star. There's a 2028 quarterback that you need to know over at Frisco Lone Star. His name is Trey Wright. Now, for all my basketball guys, my hoopers, they know about this guy. He's a freshman point guard over there, at average double digits for Lone Star on the hardwood. This guy is an electric type of player, and they're going to have him at quarterback. Of course, you got my guy Davion Gross, the Florida commit over there. You got Carice Hart over there that's going to move to running back and receiver. Listen, Lone Star's got an opportunity. They got a big game. That one game that I didn't talk about was Argyle at they welcome in Lone Star Friday night as well. That's a big game here in the state of Texas. I think it's going to be on Channel 8, if I'm not mistaken. Mike Leslie and those guys are doing it over there. But listen, that's a big game. You got to take a look at that one. You know what I'm saying? But in 5A D1, I think Frisco Lone Star has a chance to make a big run. You got Angleton out of the Houston area, LaPorte. That's a team that not a lot of people are talking about. That's a team that you need to watch. Laporte made a big run last year. I think they were in the third or fourth round. Peyton Smith is a 2028 wide receiver that you need to know about. Big time guy over there. Shout out to my guy Peyton Smith. College Station comes in at 8. Abilene and Pflugerville Weiss. Listen, my guy Jackson Shad, 2028 quarterback. If you don't know about Pflugerville Weiss, look it up. I'm telling you, these guys have a great team that can make a run coming out of Central Texas. It's real hard to come out of Central Texas sometimes because they got to come to play those guys in the DFW area, and it's kind of hard for those guys to make it to the state title game. But Pflugerville Weiss is a team you need to watch. But we're running out of time. A few more minutes to go here. The 5A D2 top 10. This is the On the Mark Sports top 10, not anybody else's top 10. This is my top 10. Richmond Randall is coming in at 1. South Oak Cliff 2. Iowa Colony at 3. Texarkana, Texas High. Listen, Texas High has been a team I've been trying to see for the last 3 years. They got one of the best players in the country in Tredarian Ball who can just do it all. Receiver, running back, kick return, whatever you want to do. If he wanted to play defense, I'm sure he could do. This is one of the best players in the country. He's committed to Oregon for a reason. This guy's electric. I want to see Texas High. They're gonna make me drive to Texarkana. I know that's what's gonna have to happen. I was looking at their schedule this week. They got some big games. They're playing some guys down in East Texas. I might have to pull up to like Jacksonville or something like that, or Marshall, to go see these guys. But I've been wanting to see Texas High for a minute. They've been getting clipped right before they're supposed to play closer to the DFW area, which is, a little bit better drive. But Texas High is coming in at number 4. Brenham at 5. Argyle, listen, these guys can play some football. And you know that Argyle's one of those teams that can get hot. They ran into a buzzsaw and really, got beat pretty handily over at SMU when South Oak Cliff took them out. But they're coming in at number 6. Fort Bend Marshall out of the Houston area is number 7. P&G is 8. Anna, the Coyotes, come in the On the Mark Sports 5A D2 top 10 at number 9. And I got Lovejoy at 10. Now, this was where I kind of ran into a little conundrum there, because I like Walnut Grove. And depending on how things shake out, don't be surprised if Walnut Grove moves into the On the Mark Sports top 10 this week. Shout out to my guy Hayes Hackney and my guy Cam Newton over there. Those guys had a district title last year. They went undefeated. They made a deep playoff run. Both of those guys are coming back. My guy, big-time wide receiver over there, Cooley, is a guy that you need to know about. Walnut Grove has a chance to make a big run. They got a tough district over there with Lovejoy and those guys over there as well. And Anna is in that district as well. I think that Walnut Grove, and I kind of was, kind of back and forth with this one, but Walnut Grove could possibly move into the top 10 this week, depending on how things shake up around the state. But that's the On the Mark Sports top 10 in 5AD1, 5AD2, and 6A here in the state of Texas. Not just in DFW, not in the H-Town, you know what I'm saying, but in DFW. In H-Town, in Texas. We got it all. That's On the Mark Sports. We'll hit your mark with the On Your Mark show each week right here from the Fishbowl Radio Network. We appreciate everybody that's been joining us and tapping in with us, man. Listen, 6 o'clock every week now, right here in the Fishbowl Radio Network. The On Your Mark show, brought to you and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. Every play I compete. Listen, I'm telling you guys, stay tuned. Definitely go to onthemarksports.com, man. The website has been revamped, and we updated a lot of things for you. We're going to be covering a lot of things. We're also going to be covering some college football. But before we get out of here, I'm wearing this hat for a reason. Texas, Ohio State, it's going down. In the horseshoe. Arch Manning, starting quarterback. Colin Simmons, my guy, Manny Muhammad, a cornerback. Man, this is going to be the game. It's an early game. Shout out to Fox and YouTube for getting together, because I got a YouTube TV. They was about to have us not watching the game. You know what I'm saying? But we got it locked in, man, for real. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go through the rankings for college football real quick. Of course, Texas is at 1. Penn State's 2. Ohio State's 3. Clemson 4. Georgia 5. Notre Dame is 6. Oregon is 7. Bama is at 8. LSU at 9. Miami, the Hurricanes, come in at 10. Arizona State, Illinois, South Carolina, Michigan, and Florida 10 through 15. SMU, the Ponies, got a big one this weekend against East Texas A&M. I will be at that game covering it for Mustang Wire. You also can look at Mustang Wire or check out Mustang Wire on themarksports.com. Listen, I told you we coming with it this year. OnTheMarkSports.com is different this year. Definitely go check it out. I'm telling you, recruiting, everything, scouting, everything that I do already at OnTheMarkSports.com. My guy Jay Pace is on board in Tennessee. Listen, we got national coverage for you. You want to know what's going on in Tennessee? Follow OnTheMarkSports.com. 17's Kansas State, who had a big win or a big loss to Iowa State last week. So these rankings are probably going to change. Shout out to Iowa State. They came in at 22 over the weekend. I'm sure that's going to change by next week. Oklahoma's 18, Texas A&M 19, Indiana, Ole Miss, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Tennessee, and Boise State round out the college football top 25. You can find that on OnTheMarkSports.com as well, man. I'm telling you right now, go to OnTheMarkSports.com. Like and subscribe, man. You know, everybody that's been following the show can go to OnTheMarkSports.com and check out the new content we've been dropping, man. Again, these are some of the things that we've been working on here. Shout out to my friend, my cohort, my partner in crime, Princess Cooper, has been working on the website with us, man, and she's got us laced up and ready to go, man. This is what we're going to be doing each week right here. 6 o'clock now, 6 o'clock. Now, if you missed this 6 o'clock show, you can always go to the On Your Mark Show YouTube channel and get busy and like and subscribe. The subscribers have gone up. People are following us, man. Check us out. We're still going to lace you up with the best game when it comes to recruiting, exposure, and high school football, and even some college football now. College coaches are going to be tapping in. All of that and more right here on the On Your Mark Show, right here on the Fishbowl Radio Network. Well, that's all the time we got for today. We'll be back next week, 6 o'clock. We'll see who won and see who lost. Of course, the On The Mark Sports Top 10 is going to change going into next week. Man, shout out to my guy Maynard Mike and my guy Scott Rapp on the visual. Shout out to Bryce for hanging out with me today. It's going down. The On Your Mark Show, powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel every week right here on the Fishbowl Radio Network at 6 o'clock. We out.
Hey, this Manna Mike. I'm not sure what you own, but this here is on the mark. Like a spiral from a 5-star recruit, we throwing darts, really focused. WD-40 couldn't stop the way we grind it. In the trenches, putting that work in, I relate to all my linemen. This is for the men, the boys do not belong here. Tiptoeing to the top, we doing cone drills. The hottest show in the world, you don't even gotta search. Steady putting in work, you see the sweat up on my shirt. They wasn't aware of us at first, we wasn't on their radar. Now every play that we make, they gon' say, oh, similar to a razor blade, we gon' stay sharp. The news ain't official if it's not on the mark.